morning. This is Math Fundamental for Tuesday, April 7th, and we are on lesson 12.7, and now we're going to start using those positive and negative numbers, or what we call integers, to solve equations. So we're going to be using that knowledge from last week. If you are struggling with that from last week, you need to practice online. You can do it on Khan Academy, and you can check your answers immediately. But it's really important that we have a good understanding of those. You may have to look back and write some rules down from the previous lessons to help you remember as we start. But we want to get really comfortable with using positive and negative numbers so that is just really simple and really easy. It's like adding 2 plus 2. We don't have to think, I'm taking 2 and I'm adding 2 on. We just know that we're combining those numbers. So we want that to be second nature to us and get really good at adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing positive and negative numbers. So our first example today is x plus 7 equals negative 2. And we're going to be solving this problem. You've done some simple algebra, so make sure that you're writing the problem down on your piece of paper. You're not doing this in your head. You're in pre-algebra. You should be writing each line down just like I'm doing. So I want to get x by itself, isolate the x. So what do I need to do? Well, I need to get rid of the plus 7. Okay, well, what's the opposite of positive 7? Negative 7. So instead of adding 7, I'm going to subtract 7 to get rid of it and make it 0. Well, whatever I do to one side, I need to do to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. Positive 7 and negative 7 equal 0. So x equals, now I need to combine a negative 2 and a negative 7. So if the signs are the same, then I'm adding the numbers, 9, and they keep the sign. So x equals negative 9. Okay. Next example. Y minus negative 13 equals 19. Okay, well, the first thing that I see here is I have two negatives right next to each other. Two negatives multiplied together equal a positive. So this should be y plus 13 equals 19. I want to get rid of the 13 and get the y by itself, so I'm going to subtract 13 from both sides. Okay, so I'm left with a y. These cancel out. Y equals 19. I'm combining a positive and a negative, so I subtract. 19 minus 13 is 6. And I keep the sign of the bigger number. Okay? So I don't need that sign there. Just y equals 6. So you should be working down on your paper. If you just have an answer, I'm going to start marking you off because I need to see the process, okay, that you're doing. So make sure that you're showing me your work. Let's look at the next example. Okay, in this case, we can see that we have a multiplication problem here because when we have a number right next to a letter, we know that that signals multiplication. So we want to do the opposite of multiplication. To get the z by itself, we want to divide. So we're going to divide by negative 4. Whatever we do to one side, we need to do to the other side. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 equals what? Positive 1, right? So, and 1 times anything is itself. So these cancel. Okay, I'm left with z. Z equals 36 divided by 4 equals 9. And when I'm thinking about my rules for multiplication or dividing of positives, two negatives make a positive. So it remains positive 9. Z equals 9. Okay, example D. W divided by negative 9 equals 15. In this case, we have a division problem. Well, what's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So I'm going to take the negative 9 that I want to get rid of, and I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 9. These will cancel. What's left? just W. And then I have 15 times negative 9. Okay, so I'm going to come to the side here. I get 134. So when I multiply those, I get 134, and here I have a positive and a negative. So when I'm multiplying and I have opposite signs, it's going to be negative. So W equals negative 134. Oh, sorry, it was 45. I hope you caught that at home. Okay. We have some additional examples where they're going to give us the words and they want us to write an equation. So let's do those really quickly and get you on your way. Example E says, write an equation for, and it gives you the words, so I want you to listen. 7 less than a number, n is 18. So 7 less than a number. So I'm taking away 7, right? 7 less than a number, right, is negative 18. So n minus 7 equals negative 18. And of course we can solve this from here. We're going to add add 7 to both sides. Okay, and we get these cancel. So I get n equals, I have a positive and negative, I'm combining them, so I have to say 8 minus 7 is 1, bring down the 1, I have 11, we're going to keep the sign of the bigger number, so n equals negative 11. And then example F, listen and try to make a problem in your mind of what you're hearing. The quotient, okay, so quotient, I already know is the answer to a division problem. So I have a division problem, and the answer is the quotient. The quotient of an integer, that we don't know what that integer is, so I'm just going to put x. The quotient of an integer and negative 6 is 14. So now we have a problem that we can solve. Okay, what's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So we're going to multiply, I'm going to do it like this, times negative 6, okay, times negative 6. So these will cancel, and we have x equals 14 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24, 6, 7, 8. So 84, and we have a positive and a negative, so my answer has to be negative. So n, or x, equals negative 84. Okay, so I'm going to let you go ahead and get started and see how you do on these. Make sure you ask for help via Marco Polo. You can take a picture of the problem that you're struggling with as well. I'd like for you to do numbers 1 through 26.